what the cards may say.
What audience response do you get?
It varies. We've seen things that we wouldn't have seen had we not been playing rock and roll.
Yeah. You just see just unbelievable scenes sometimes. There were two guys last Friday night whipping each other with chains at the foot of the stage. I mean, that's not typical. That's completely extraordinary, but they were doing it and they meant it, and they were really getting off on it and getting something from it. And there was some kind of really good release for them.
Do you think that had anything to do with your music?
I think that we'd have to say yes to that one.
Yeah.
I think that our music would provide a vehicle for people to release those sort of emotions.
The development of a sexual identity is very crucial to that particular age group. And I think probably through new wave music, disco music, there's an opportunity to get up and move, and perhaps to move in a more disinhibited sort of way, which I suppose can be linked to the whole area of sexuality and sexual identity.
Yeah, there's undeniably a very heavy sexual feeling beneath playing in a band and playing music like this on stage. It's a release on that plane, and we relate very strongly to the people being out there and to people who respond to that in whichever way they choose, whether it be with chains, with tables.
Just even things like the eye contact with the people that you have. It's almost like nothing is said, but something is understood. You know, it is incredible. There's nothing like it.
Technology is definitely going to a state now where 10 years ago you just bought a guitar amplifier. Today you can buy a guitar amplifier, but you can also buy guitar synthesizers and things like that, which means there's a whole new way of playing. It's like a guitar player may now sound like a keyboard player. There's a whole big cross. Also like drums, you can get synthesized drums as well. So technology's taken it to an extent where you can learn different instruments, but you can produce a much vaster variety of sounds.
If this technological revolution is overtaking popular music, where does that put classical music?
Classical music? Well, classical music, as far as just doing concerts goes, to what your mums and dads would listen to, I think that's going to have a more limited market now because of the recessions and everything. It costs fortunes to put on these concerts and to sustain all these musicians. I don't think orchestras are just going to disappear totally. I think they're going to have to take on a new form and a new role in music. You know, be used with more modern instruments a lot more, but in a more different way, not just an MOR way where you just got strings playing on a record. They're going to take over a whole different aspect of playing. It's like, especially like the new film Alien, the music in that is very new wave, although it's quite classical.
I think that for me, there is a definite appeal about technology. I think that I get a chance to play to a lot of people, perhaps more people than I would consistently get playing classical music. I get a chance to express my own compositions, my own writing, and to arrange my pieces in the way that I feel they might work best.
And yet the career of a classical musician would be something spanning 20 or 30 years, and yet in rock and roll you're looking perhaps to 5 or 10 years at the most.
I believe personally that very much depends on the way that you approach the industry. We take, hopefully, the outlook that we build slowly, and we build slowly over a period of anything up to 10 years. And when you get to the top, if your product has got to the point where it's of consistent quality, then you may well be able to sustain for 5 years, perhaps longer. But there are definitely places in the rock industry for people who love playing and arranging and producing rock music to go after their perhaps 15 years in the starlight.